Hi guys, I'm here for a more chatty vlog. So excuse the mess in the background. My husband has decided that he has wanted to start brewing beer, so there's a bunch of like brewing stuff in the back. Anyway, this is going to be more of a chatty vlog, so pull up a chair and I'm going to try and make it short, but it might be a little all over the place. I'm going to try and go chronologically. So this is basically how we got pregnant, what we did differently, what we've changed, that sort of thing. And to have this make any sense, I am going to go back to the very beginning of our history so that you can kind of get a sense of why we did what we did and what the timeline has been. Now, overall, we have had 8 losses. That being said, I don't have a guarantee that this pregnancy is going to stick. I am hopeful that it will. I am just trying to put faith into my body and the fact that my numbers have all been good. Other than that, there's not much I can do at this point. So I'm just hopeful that this one will stick and we'll see how the weeks progress. So that being said, before we got married, we had one pregnancy that I don't know if it was actually a pregnancy or if it was a false positive, although it was a positive on a digital, so that's less likely that it was a false positive. But I started to bleed right the next morning. I passed something, and who knows, but I felt like I was pregnant as soon as I took that test, and then I passed something the next day. So that was our first loss. It was natural. However, at that point, my cycles were completely insane. They were anywhere from 27 to 190 something days, and there was no rhyme or reason to a cycle length, not at all. So half the time, I don't think I was even ovulating. Knowing that we were going to have issues because when I was a teenager, my doctors had seen that I would quite possibly be polycystic, and warned me that I would probably have trouble having kids. And then having that happen, we decided, that was my table, sorry. We decided that we would stop birth control and start trying before our wedding, which I know a lot of people would not agree with, but oh well. So we did that. So that being said, we got married in 2010. It has been almost 6 years. It's been about 5 3/4 years that we have tried before this pregnancy. So at this point, we've had 1 loss, and overall we've had 8. Let me see if I can follow the timeline for when we've had each one. We tried for about a year and nothing was happening. We did have one pregnancy in between getting married and starting infertility treatments. That was my 3rd month on soy isoflavins, and it ended in a very early miscarriage. Literally the same day I got my positive pregnancy test, I didn't even have time to get in to the doctors to get a beta done. So that's pregnancy loss number 2. Then we tried a little while, and at the year mark, we went and did Clomid with my OB at the time. I loved her. She was amazing. I wish she was on my insurance now. Oh well. So we did three or 4 rounds of Clomid with her. One of them we got a positive pregnancy test, and again, very, very early loss. I don't think I even uploaded anything about that on here. I think I just counted it as a loss and went with it. So let's see, where are we at? Woo! We took a break between Clomid and doing IUI. IUI, we did get 1 positive pregnancy test at home at 13 DPIUI, and then it ended that same day. So again, we did not get to do the blood work. After doing IUI, which my IUI cycles were a total mess. The first one, I think we did Clomid, and I think we did 3 altogether. The second one, We were trying to do Clomid, but it just wasn't working, and we ended up doing a mix of pills and injectables, and then the third one we did straight injectables. That was a mess. So between IUI and IVF, we had one pregnancy again with soy isoflavones, but it ended so fast that I don't think I even bothered putting it on here. I might have, I can't quite remember. I might have made it private. And then we adopted kids, and then we did IVF last year, our first IVF cycle. We got pregnant at a very, very low number. We got a 12, and then I had already started bleeding by the time the beta number came back, and they were telling me it was probably the progesterone. And then, yeah, so, I knew it had ended. Then we did a second IVF round. That did not work at all. Let's see. What happened in between that? So then we're going to just fast forward to this year. This year, we had a positive pregnancy test in April. And I actually did get in. I got a positive pregnancy test. I got in and got into the doctor's office and got a beta. And my number was 14. So again, very, very low. That was 14 days past ovulation. It should have been higher than that. And the next day I started to bleed. So then in, I believe, late July, I got a very light positive, and just a couple days later, or a day and a half later, I started to bleed. I hadn't even had time to go in and get a beta at that point either. So that brings us to now, and obviously, just a week and a half ago, I got my positives, and good numbers so far. Okay, now, I'm sorry if any of that seemed like I was confused. There is a whole lot going on there. That was a whole lot of information to relay in about 7 minutes, and a whole lot of remembering sad times. Anyway, while we were doing all of those fertility treatments, we were constantly unexplained infertility because my husband's sperm was like off the charts great, so there was no issues there. We did an HSG and looked at my uterus, and I was never found to be truly polycystic, though I did have issues where I would produce too many follicles and then they would back down and not want to grow at all. And so they thought maybe I was PCOS, but like borderline, because my blood work never showed any insulin issues. So then, we went all the way through IVF for our embryos to just, what do they call it? Oh gosh, fragment. Most of our embryos fragmented. We did a package with our IVF clinic. They paired with Attain, and Attain has this package where you can get a discounted rate and refund insurance and that kind of thing, which we went for, and we did this package that was 2 and 2. So you get 2 fresh cycles and 2 frozen cycles. So theoretically that should be enough. And we just had no frozen embryos at all. In fact, the first cycle we had 2 embryos that were pretty decent. We put those 2 back in, and then one they were hoping would make it to a 5-day to freeze, and it didn't. It didn't even last the rest of the afternoon. And the 2 that were put back in were okay quality, but not great. The second round, we had 2 that we put back in, but one of them was just not even great quality, and one of them was only okay quality. None of them were left over to even think about hopefully freezing. So we didn't get to use those frozen embryo transfers, which kind of sucked. We didn't even get that chance. At that point, it was determined that our issue, finally an answer was more than likely, not 100%, but more than likely my egg quality, because that seems to be the only kind of thing left. So at that point, we had a huge discussion with multiple of the IVF doctors that work in the clinic that I went to. And they said, knowing that it is likely your egg quality that is the issue, what we would suggest is doing these things until either you want to do IVF again, or you want to do IUI again, or until you get pregnant on your own. And I kind of laughed at him. So one of the things was weight loss. I was at 199 pounds at that point. I had been a little bit lower, but with all of the injectable meds, I gained a bit of weight. And of course, all of that weight is really quite hard to get off. So, I kind of laughed at him. I was like, one of the problems I have is losing weight. I can't for the life of me lose weight. And, it's very hard. So they said, with thinking that I was fairly probably PCOS or borderline PCOS, since my blood work does not show PCOS, that metformin would probably be a good thing. So they said, talk to your doctor, see if they're willing to put you on metformin. If not, you can come back to us and we'll prescribe it, but it will be out of pocket. I said, okay. So then they said there are also many supplements that you'll find online. People will say are great for egg quality, but we don't want you to take them all, because if you take them all, you're very likely going to overload your body with too much stuff. So they suggested doing 600 milligrams of CoQ10 and 75 milligrams of DHEA, not DHA, DHEA a day. So I tried to find a 75 milligram pill. I could not find a 75 milligram pill, which was kind of annoying because that meant I had to either take 1 pill and a half of a pill every day or take 3 pills every day, which was kind of annoying. But I ended up deciding to do 3 pills a day because I did not want to cut pills in half because they're really tiny. The DHEA pills are like super tiny. So when you cut those in half, a lot of the time they'll like just totally fragment. Like how I did that. So I did that, and then I did end up finding online one CoQ10 pill that came in a 600 milligram tablet. Now I'm telling you, I can swallow horse pills with no issue. These pills are huge. They're huge. So if you have any problem swallowing pills, don't go for these. Try and get a lower dose, because the 600 milligram CoQ10 is huge. It's absolutely huge. But I did that daily. Now, I started that around this time last year. I had been trying to lose weight the old-fashioned way, and I didn't really think that the supplements were really going to help with egg quality enough. But I decided around probably September of last year, so probably exactly a year ago, that enough was enough. So I started the metformin, and then about a month or so later, I started the supplements. And then in April of this year, we had a chemical. So at that point, I was like, wow, something's actually working. Again, at that point, I had lost about 12 pounds, 13 pounds, somewhere in there, between 10 and 15 pounds. Can't quite remember, but I had lost some weight, so that was good. I was almost out of the obese category, which, well, we won't get to that part, but so that I felt like, wow, something's really actually working. So I kept working out. I kept losing weight. As of pre-pregnancy weight, I was down exactly 20 pounds. I could have probably been down more than that. However, for one, it's hard for me to lose weight. For two, a lot of stuff has happened this year, and my weight loss took a little bit of a back burner for a little bit there. So I was 20 pounds down. I got pregnant again, and that one lasted a couple days, and then I couldn't, or no, that one didn't last a couple days. That one just lasted about a day and a half, I think, that I knew about. That one in late July, early August. And but I got that positive pregnancy test as well, and so it was obvious to me that something was working, that those supplements were really working, and the metformin was obviously helping me to lose weight, because before the metformin, I would have to kill myself 7 days a week in a gym and then eat like a bunny rabbit, and I would still be really hard pressed to lose a pound or so here and there, whereas it wasn't nearly so difficult with the metformin. So that's kind of our answer. It was egg quality, and boosting that egg quality was huge. We also started eating a lot more real foods, not so much out foods, not so much convenience foods at home. We were doing a lot of fruits and vegetables and organic if we could. We were doing a lot of homemade meals, and I really do think that helped. I also started doing some green smoothies. Every once in a while, I did a little bit of a shake cleanse, just to keep helping my weight loss boost and that kind of thing. But I think the combination of weight loss with the metformin to get my body more regulated, but that was specifically for me because of that borderline PCOS stuff. So if you're not PCOS, don't even just don't. Metformin can be kind of brutal, but if you're thinking egg quality might be your issue, the CoQ10, 600 milligrams a day, the DHEA, 75 milligrams a day, those were fantastic. No side effects from them, aside from sometimes bright yellow pee, but I think that was actually from the metformin more so than anything, and extra B vitamins that I had been taking. But eating well, losing weight, just kind of trying to get your body healthier, those were kind of our answer. So sorry it's so long again, but I hope that was helpful to anybody, and I will talk to you guys hopefully for my 5 week. Bye.